The Ultimate Football Fan is now here. All the biggest fan channels in one place.
Next night's down.
100% Chelsea.
Arsenal Fan TV.
All about the fans.
Why is he on the fucking pitch? What for what?
Exclusive content only here.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to
The UFF Daily Football Show.
The #1 source for everything going on in the football world daily.
UFF. Do what you have to do.
FanPark Live. It is all over. Top 4 race for Chelsea looks all but done. They throw it away in a hard-fought battle against Huddersfield, drawing 1-1. Arsenal lose again away from home, beat 3-1 by Leicester City. Spurs currently leading 1-0. Looks as though they're pretty much done enough now. Both Liverpool didn't even have to play. Chelsea have thrown it away. Top 4 looks all but set. Pretty much meaning Chelsea have now actually made the last day of the season almost a non-event. Yeah. Almost a non-event in terms of changes around in the league. Myself and Adam are going to talk about these games, but we want to hear from you on 0203 606 0315. Make sure you download the OneFootball app. We will be using that to review the games, look at some of the statistical breakdowns, and review some of the news. We've got some Twitter polls out there as well. So if Jay could do us the honour of getting my phone up on the screen, that would be absolutely amazing. Got the Twitter polls out at the moment. We'll just go to them now. First one, will Arsenal ever win an away game in the Premier League again? Nope. Currently 71% of the voters have said no. So that's my Twitter handle there, at Terry Flewers TFT. So go check that out, give it a vote, give it a retweet. And the other poll that we currently have running is, should Antonio Conte be sacked as Chelsea manager? 38% say yes, 32% say no, 30% say decide after the final. That is the FA Cup final we are referring to, in case you have been living under a rock. But we'll go to your team first of all, Arsenal tonight. Yeah. I mean, look, there was nothing riding on the game. Maybe a little bit of pride, winning away from home.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wenger hasn't won a game away from home in 2018.
He hasn't. And what I find interesting, people in the comments are saying Arsenal are back. Like, where did we go? Like, we haven't won a game and we've been winning games at home. So this was like, don't want to say it was always bound to happen, but Arsenal haven't gone anywhere. Like you say, pride was the only thing that was on the line. It would have been nice if they won for Wenger, but do they really care? Not really.
Do you know what? I referred to it earlier with a caller, and I'll go back to it again. I watched, you know, some would say legendary, but definitely an ex-great British boxer on Saturday, David Hay, fight against Tony Bellew. And in my very humble opinion, David Hay, in his prime, 7, 8 to 10 years ago, fighting Tony Bellew, it has sparked him. But you watch the man that was shot, that was too slow to... He couldn't react, couldn't hit the guy first. His body's letting him down. I look at this Arsenal team and see the same thing. Yeah. They may not be physically in that position, but I look at a team that's shot, that lacks ideas, that's lost its passion and its drive, and that as a collective group can no longer dismantle teams as it used to.
Let's not forget that we did have 10 men, though.
Yeah, you did, but then that was because of a defensive mistake. Like, yes, he rugby tackled the guy, but why did he do that? Because it was an absolutely horrendous pass and horrendous defending in the first place. And that's all part and parcel of what I'm saying. The great thing is for this Arsenal, and Arsenal fans don't get angry with me, is that you have got some top-class players at this club. World-class Aubameyang. Borderline world-class in Lacazette. If somebody can get more consistency out of Ozil. You've got Mkhitaryan, who came from my club, Man United, who I think is amazing player. That's just 4. Yeah. You've then got other players around. You've got the lad that got sent off. How do you pronounce his name? Mavropanos. I'm digging him out on Twitter a bit for a bit of a joke, but he looks very talented. You're going to get a new manager come in if you give that guy time. If you don't overhype the team, if you don't make the expectations too great.
Are we Arsenal fans if we don't overhype the team?
Maybe. But look, tonight's a disappointing result. But I would be looking beyond that. You've got some very talented players. You've got one more game to endure under Wenger. Yeah. And then it is on to pastures new. So I wouldn't be panicking. But we want to hear from Arsenal fans. Chelsea as well, though.
That's who we need to talk about.
Chelsea, they just let... Oh, we've got a call. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Jacob.
Hello, Jacob. Who do you support?
I support Arsenal.
Okay. What would you like to say about tonight's games?
I I reckon we reacted well to going to 10 men. Obviously, getting the goal from Aubameyang, but obviously we capitulated after the legs got tired with 10 men. Yeah, but the fans were great, and
Good.
I think we definitely need a centre back and a new defensive midfielder, because we're just crying out for one. Because we've got like Ramsey running around. Obviously, he did quite well, but like Xhaka, and he's too slow, and yeah, obviously Wilshere isn't the big enough pipe to be defensive. So I think we definitely need to improve that. And then defensively, we're horrible. But yeah, made a decent game though.
Yeah, no, I totally get and understand that. I mean, did anything impress you from Arsenal tonight, Adam?
The only thing I'm impressed with is Aubameyang. The fact that he's got 9 goals in 11 games now. That's brilliant. That is really good. And as you saw, we were having the debate with AJ earlier. People were judging him after 4 games, saying that he was going to be a flop, that he's a panic buy. But as you rightly said, if we can get him and Lacazette firing, building the team around them for next season, then I think there's every reason to be positive. But it's just a matter of, will the manager be able to do that? That's the question.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, you've got 2 world-class players there. I think that's what needs to happen. How does he get the best out of them two? How does he utilise them both? How does he get them to work together? If he can't do that, one of them has to go.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the big challenge for the manager, which is why he needs time, because he isn't going to sell them before pre-season. He's going to have pre-season. He'll have next season with both of those players, I'm sure, and then move on from there. If I can influence one Arsenal fan, it would be to say, have patience next year, no matter what happens. Even if you finish 6th again, even if you don't win a title again, just have patience.
People are saying low volume, by the way.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Ali, and I support Chelsea.
Lovely. As a Chelsea fan, how disappointed are you with your team's performance tonight? Hello?
Well, I don't really blame the team. Yeah, maybe they should have finished their chances, but I just feel defended very well. Credit to them.
Yep.
And obviously, I'm really pissed off that. And our top 4 chances gone. But
if this was Arsenal, would you be saying that Arsenal should have done better against a team that defended well? Because I feel like if this were Arsenal that played against Huddersfield and we didn't manage to break them down, then the excuses would be, Arsenal are not good enough, the team's not good enough, blah 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 blah. But for you to say that I don't think it's the team's fault, whose fault is it? Okay.
I don't really blame anyone today. It's just Huddersfield's really good defending, in my opinion.
Good. Well, really do appreciate your call. Thank you very much. I know a few people are commenting saying the volume's low. Hang on, I'm just checking if it is. This is off my laptop, so I'm just going to listen to this for a second. Really do appreciate your call. Thank you very much. I know a few people are commenting saying you're all lying. See, one person writes it as a troll and they start trolling it to make you think there's a technical problem. You have been outed. But well done, good try. You have to get up early. You have to get up early to catch me out, boys. I'm too long in the tooth in this. I have to say, no disrespect that caller. Like, respect you for calling up, mate. But come on, I want a bit more. You must have something to say.
He said, "I'm really pissed off."
He didn't sound pissed off.
Maybe he's just been crying.
He sounded like he was lacking iron.
Possibly.
Is he anemic? I want to know. That's what it's called when you lack iron.
Big up all the anemics out there.
There's nothing wrong with, there is something wrong with being anemic. I'm tired a lot. Yeah, I see his tweet the other day. It made me die, right? She was this girl and she was like, she said something like, my boyfriend never has to worry about me cheating. I'm anemic. All I do when I'm not with him is sleep and chew on ice. And I just thought it was funny because that's what they date. A lot of them like to suck on ice for whatever reason.
Really?
Yeah. I read this and then I saw the tweet and it made me laugh. It was funny. There we go. The caller's volume is low. No, the caller was just, that's how he speaks.
Yeah. He was
hello. I'm not disappointed with anyone today. I just think Huddersfield.
People said that we shouldn't be bullies. So
I'm not being a bully. It's how you
don't do
spoke.
that, don't do
Hello, welcome to FanPark Alive.
Hi, what's going on?
Yo, who do you support?
Arsenal.
What's your name?
Howard.
What size are your shoes?
Sorry?
Doesn't matter. What do you want to say about today's game, my friend?
I'm appalled, man. I'm appalled by their performance.
Why?
Still.
Because what they did against Burnley was magnificent because of Arsenal's last home game. But I don't know why they couldn't perform today against Leicester.
Does it really matter? Do you actually care?
Come on, it's done now. This is pre-season.
Like, but honestly, like, you'd want to send off Wenger, like, in a nice way in his last couple of games, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, but it's hard. Like, look, that Burnley game, it may have been because it was Wenger's last game. But you did the same thing just after the window shut against Everton at home, as an example. You've had a few little moments in this whole season where you've looked like a really good team for a game or two. That's just Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. Like, they can produce a performance every now and then, but you're just not good enough under him. If I was an Arsenal fan now, I would just be like, great, this cements it even more so that it's the right decision for this man to move on.
What team do you support?
Me, Manchester United.
Fergie's out of intensive care.
Do you know what?
I'm glad to hear that.
What did you say, sorry?
Fergie's out of intensive care. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, this is very true. What was that noise you made? Do it again. You know what? Honestly, you and your mum sound so alike.
Whoa.
I'm joking.
Before you go, though, you probably want to get that fire alarm tested, though. I'm not even taking it. Like, that can save lives, bro. You got to do it. His fire alarm is just run out of battery.
Is that a fire alarm or is that a parrot?
Nah, man, it's just a little joke between me and my mates. Whenever we try to violate a team, you go like, oh, their team.
Huh?
So I just do that. Cause I'm not that much of a United fan, but fair enough.
Okay.
Cool, mate. Really do appreciate your call. Thank you very much, brother. Take care. Man, sound like he's having his tooth pulled out.
I don't know what that was, but it's a joke between him and his friends.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sounds like a really empty room he was in. I don't think his friends were there.
Yeah.
They might have been.
Probably not. I doubt it. This live stream is crap.
Then don't watch it.
Cheers, Tim.
That's on the Chelsea channel. I think you're a Chelsea fan. It's not as bad as your football team. Oh, how'd you like that one? How'd you like that one, eh?
Meow.
No, Terry, that's out of order. Oh, come on, that's out of order. If you can't take a your mum joke, like, you've got serious problems. Like, they're funny. I love all that. Like, the best thing, I'm actually mentioning David Hay again. When he fought Tony Bellew the first time, and he had his rant, and someone was calling all his names, he went, yeah, your mum. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. It's just a joke. I don't really mean it. He weren't really offended. Calm down, you snowflakes. This is just pretend. We're just having fun. If you can't handle it. Sorry?
Wasn't a pen, wasn't a red, but Arsenal players refund your except for Maitland, Niles, Aubameyang and Nketiah.
Toby the greatest.
Yeah.
Toby the greatest. That is the worstest message I've ever seen. It was a pen, 100% a red card. Why would the players refund their salaries? Like, why would they do that? And you're singling out 3 players that you obviously love and fanboy. They were just as bad as everybody else. So yeah, worst comment of the night, I'm afraid.
Nketiah didn't even play.
Did he not?
I mean, no, he did, but he came in for the last 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
And did nothing. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hello, mate. My name's Sean from Northampton.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Who do you support?
I'm a Gooner. I'm a Gooner.
Good. What's on your mind?
Oh, do you know what? I hear a lot of people complaining about stupid stuff at the end of the day. We've all seen this going on for a little while now in regards to us pulling out, big wins against, smaller teams and that. When it comes to playing the big boys, we're not really doing so well. But I mean, I think today's example of the football that we played and that, it's just sums up the last couple of years that we've had to go through. You know what I mean? So it's nothing as much as a shock. But I'm looking forward to a new change. Obviously, we need to see Wenger go. Let's keep our heads up. We need to carry on supporting the team as well. But blooming hell, don't be half moan just about silly stuff, you know what I mean? It's a game of two ends. There's going to be certain teams out there that are going to obviously take advantage of us, especially while we can in certain areas as well, you know what I mean?
What type of silly stuff do you think Arsenal fans are complaining about, though?
Just random, again, like your last caller, and everyone just sounds like they're flipping stoned. Like, no one's actually watching the football, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just anything, you know, it's a game at the end of the day. Like, we're not the Invincibles anymore. Yeah. You know, obviously we're going to win some, we're going to lose some. I ain't, you know, pro-Wenger, I ain't like flipping the man there that wears the hat, but come on, no, it's a game at the end of the day. We're not there just to support our team when we win. We're there to support our team.
Do you think that... I kind of feel this a lot. There's so much criticism about certain individuals. Like Wenger gets a lot of criticism. Others will get a lot of criticism. Do you sometimes feel when you listen to, whether it's rivals doing it or your own fellow supporters, do you sometimes feel that some of them, as you say, don't watch the games and they don't actually have their own opinions? They're just repeating the same nonsense that they hear in the media.
Everyone's just getting on the flipping bandwagon, you know what I mean? It's so frustrating to watch sometimes because, again, I'm not a fan of Arsenal Football Club. I'm a supporter. So it's the same way as if you were to support your kids, you know. I think I've seen someone on Arsenal Fan TV say the other day, like, you know, you don't have a go at your kids every time they're doing bad. You can't try and pick them up, try and give them a bit of, you know, a bit of confidence. We ain't done that for decades, for absolute years, which is, you know, in my eyes, a bit embarrassing. I understand everyone's frustration. I'm just as frustrated as everybody else, but Jesus, like, we need to try and start supporting our team rather than just picking at. We're more critics than supporters, which is a massive shame in my eyes.
So what are you saying for next season? What do you think is going to happen? Who would you like to see? And if we get who you want, how far do you think this Arsenal team can go?
I think we're going to end up getting Allegri, but I really like to see Enrique massively. I think if we could get someone like that, again, it's a bit on you know, a bit of competitive with Pep Guardiola. That's, you know, it's the same kind of area as well. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to get Allegri, and I think he would do as well, to be fair. But you know, as a lot of proper gooners are saying, you know, we need to give this guy a bit of support. Look what he's coming into. At the end of the day, it's not going to be an overnight success, and we're typical for doing that. In regards to, you know, look, we've got this new signing that we've never fully heard of before, and we think we're going to win the league, where it's not necessarily the case. I mean, again, if you look at what's happened over the past, like 6-7 years, it's going to take a bit of time to rebuild the club because we've lost some of our key players. But I think, you know, if we give them a season or two at least, then we can start making decisions. The last thing we want to do, no disrespect to your man there, is what, you know, Man United did with David Moyes, is not give him enough time, you know, and just try and let him take over the club as his own, rather than, you know, just try and carry on what Wenger's been doing, because obviously what Wenger's been doing hasn't been working for us. So we're going to need a new stance, a new strategy, and, you know, a new direction for Arsenal Football Club, I think, personally.
Yeah.
So,
mate, I honestly, I totally agree with a lot of what you said there. I really appreciate your call as well. Thank you. Giving the new manager time is going to be important. And I've kind of said this about Arsenal fans and the reaction next year. It's almost like it'll be nice to... Look, I love watching Arsenal Fan TV, okay? And I love listening to Troops and DT and that have their opinions. But what I find about a lot of people, DT has his opinion and he'll put it out there. Troops will, Claude will, Ty will. I just find some people's... Maybe they all think the same. Or maybe they just repeat what those guys say, just to sort of be in vogue, if that makes sense. But I'm looking forward to next season because for the first time in years on the platform, we're going to see a very different approach from the fans. Forget. I don't really listen to the mainstream media and the pundits. I listen to supporters talk about football much more. I find it more honest. I find it more open. So I'm really interested in seeing their viewpoint in next year. I want to see them give a new manager time. And I would say the same thing. Don't turn yourself on the new manager too quickly. I know we did that as Man United fans, and actually I'm embarrassed by it now looking back.
But how long do you give them? Because there's obviously a fine margin between giving a new manager time and like not giving him enough time at all.
It's a bad progression.
And also, this question is probably relevant for Chelsea because a lot of people are saying Conte out, and we do need to talk about Chelsea. I'm not letting them escape.
No, we will talk about them.
Like, how long do you give? How long, even Chelsea, how long do their managers get? What, 2 years? Even if they win something?
Do you know what? Look, for me, I can only give my personal opinion. I think it's all about progression. So if you look at Arsenal now, what, you 10, 12 points away from top 4. You're not competitive in the little mini top 6 leagues when you're playing the big teams. You're not in the Champions League, and you know, stuff like that. So I would look at it like this. If next season the football's good, if you're even if you finish 6th again, but you're closer. As an example, the football has improved. You've beaten some of the top 4 sides. The braveness is there. The non-conceding of silly goals and throwing away games has improved. If all these things are there, and you can see, do you know what? There's green shoots of improvement. We're moving in the right direction. Because one thing you can't discount and can't put on the neck of say it's Allegri that comes in, is the fact that City are going to improve, United are going to improve, Chelsea are going to get a new manager and improve. Liverpool are looking already at signing some serious players. So all the teams that are already in front of you are going to better their squads and are going to increase the money that they're spending. So if any Arsenal fan has this imagination that you're literally just going to jump up into 2nd in the league in one summer, I think you're setting yourself up for failure. So for me, it would be, is there progression? Are we seeing ourselves move forward? And that's what I would judge at the end of every season. Have we moved forward? Have we progressed? Is it as far as I think we should be going? And you have to judge those things right. And I think if I was an Arsenal fan, if in 3 years' time we were solid back inside the top 4, we were going deeper into the Champions League, and we were actually competitive in games against big sides, that would be enough progression for the next 2 to 3 years. With that first manager, and then it's a case of whether or not you go for somebody else to try and move you on to that next level, or you let that person continue what they're doing. That's what I would do. Sorry about that. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hey, how's it going? This is Josh. I'm calling from Houston, Texas.
Josh in Texas. How's it going, buddy? Who do you support? Arsenal. Good. What's on your mind after today's game?
I think it's pretty hilarious that no matter how much you try, you can't give Arsene Wenger a good send-off.
Mate, it's weird. I'll be honest with you. There's this part. He got a nice send-off the other day. Very respectful words surrounding Sir Alex Ferguson, and very humble man. There's a part of me as a football fan that's like, he's getting about what he deserves, because the reason Arsenal were in this situation is because he kept himself there too long. So I don't have that much sympathy for him.
I really have none. If anything, I actually didn't watch. I didn't watch this game. I was watching the Chelsea game because I'm at work right now. But I'm just sitting here, just like watching to see how bad this can get, because it just reflects how bad of a coach he's been. And everyone that's and Wenger in and wants to give him a great send off and whatnot, it's like you're just being delusional. Ultimately, the end result is reflecting all the work that he put in, which is absolutely nothing. I feel like the team has been depending on personnel, like players, for as long as, I don't know, for like 10 years now. They haven't really depended on the coach to do anything. Like the players, we lose this player, the team goes to shit. We lose this player, the team goes to shit. Because the only reason we've been doing anything for as long as we have is because of our players. But at least it's coming to an end. I'm not exactly sure who's going to come in. I would like to see Allegri come in, actually, but.
Yeah, a lot of people. Do you know what? I get the sense that a lot of people like the sound of Allegri because he's going to set you up defensively well. And I think that when you look at Arsenal, and this would be my viewpoint on it, it's going to be it is difficult for everybody now in the Premier League to compete with Manchester City with the money they have available to spend. So I think the one way that Arsenal could look potentially to do it over the next 4 to 5 years is to create a team that's very difficult to beat, that still plays good football, like you've seen at Juve as an example. That's maybe what Allegri could bring to the fray. Where actually, if you're hard to break down, I'm not saying play boring negative football.
No, I don't even mind.
But I think if you're hard to break down, if you're hard to beat, and you still keep that Arsenal philosophy of playing good football and you attack well, it's getting the balance right. And Wenger's lost that balance because you overcommit when going forward. There's too many defensive errors. He hasn't recruited the right personnel. If that I think Allegri could be the man to get that. Luis Enrique, he might play a style of football that's too flamboyant, that leaves you exposed at the back still. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I'm just going, Allegri would be the one for me that might be able to make you win the title in 2 or 3 years' time. Potentially, if he really gets it right, because of his defensive astuteness.
Exactly. I think we have a better shot with Allegri because, like you're saying, he's more defensive. He focuses more on defense because, in my opinion, you kind of build up to the game, right? All that flashy shit up top, if there's nothing in back, you're screwed. Look at Liverpool before they got Van Dijk. They were flashy in the top, shit in the back, and it hurt them. Everyone hit them where it hurts. Everyone knows that, so they come at you like that. But, this Arsenal team, I don't think they even practice defense. For as long as I remember, I've always been terrified of conceding goals. Every time someone's in front of the box. Every time. I'm like, oh, shit, they might score. Oh, shit, they might score. No confidence in defense. Never. It's terrible.
Absolutely.
Someone has to come in and do something about it. So.
I get that. So you were watching the Chelsea game tonight. What was your views in the pit? We haven't heard from many Chelsea fans this evening. I think they're licking their wounds. What was your viewpoint on the game? Chelsea, were they poor? Were Huddersfield great? How would you assess it?
I mean, I can only talk about Huddersfield. Like, what they just did is amazing, in my opinion. I mean, the Chelsea team is a little disappointing, but they could try to salvage it that way. I thought they tried really hard towards the end of the game, but they started off a little iffy, and that's the reason why they ended up in this mess. The lineup could have been much better to start. I don't think Morata should have started, considering everything that's at stake. He should not have started this game at all. Hazard probably should have been playing from the start as well. But, you know, at the end, they tried to salvage it, and they had a couple chances, but somehow Huddersfield kept their shit.
They
So
did.
I thought that was crazy.
They really did. Mate, look, really appreciate you calling all the way from Texas. It means a lot. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Have a good one, guys.
Take care. Thank you. I like talking to that guy. Like, I know there's always like a stereotype that Americans can't talk football. He actually uses all the right terminology as well. Like, he doesn't say any of the wrong sort of like Americanisms.
Yeah.
Then his football chat. He's absolutely
In
right.
the football lane. No, yeah, he's right. It's true.
When I was over in the States, some guy referred to away games. They call them road games. Or road match. When's the next road match? And I literally looked at the man. I was like, road what? He said road match, and he said it for. I said, you can keep saying road match. It's not going to make me understand you.
Road match.
And then he was like, when you go to another team's ground, an away game. And he went, is that what you? He's like, really? Is that what you call it? I was like, yes, mate. Absolutely. I did end up having to say soccer a lot over there though, because when you mention football, it would be, what do you mean football? And he's like, right, I'll just say soccer. You know, like, I'm not saying some Americans are dumb. But I really had to, when it comes to talking football, I had to really dumb it down.
I didn't say it.
I did.
No, it's fine.
But there we go. So we do some of these comments that are coming through. You do Arsenal Fan TV. I'll do some of the Chelsea fans. What we're saying
this
here.
is UFF.
By the way, people like, I do take the mick out of some of the callers that phone up, but that's people that troll or do funny and silly things. So a good call like this, I won't take the mick. If you ring up and you start making silly noises or you try and troll me, I will say your mum, or I will talk seductively in the phone to you. And I know,
rightly so.
And I know that some of you young men watching, you going, oh God, it's so horrible. Oh, it's horrible when he does that. Is that because you look into my eyes and it makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Is it? Well, if it does, you need to ask yourself some serious questions. Hit me up, direct message me on Twitter if you want to chat. See you later.
Hello. Hello.
Because do you know, I actually know doing that, it winds them up. And because I know it winds you up, I do it. Because oh, get that off my screen. I love you all very, very much, my little trolley friends. Yeah, you do some comments off there. I'll do some here. Terry has moobs. Bruv. This is some seriousness. This is the little bit of flabbiness, is true.
Nah, there's not. I would know. I
would know. Right, you do some of your comments. I'm going to do some of these here.
Go on. Oh, we're going.
See, look, you get comments like this.
Bro, turning me on. I'm an American gooner. Giggity, giggity, yeah.
Giggity, giggity.
That turns me up. Terry, shut up. Nah, it's right. Terry is drunk. Yeah, he is.
I'm drunk on love.
I've been telling him to stop drinking, but he just carries on. No, seriously. Let's get some. Arsenal are a joke. We know that already.
Yeah, bored.
We know that already. Can you read this comment? I feel like you could have given us something. Vinayak Prasad.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
What's happening? My name's Jamie.
Hello, Jamie. How's it going, mate?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
Very well, mate. Who do you support?
I support Arsenal.
Good. What's on your mind? What do you want to say?
I just want to say, yeah, that like I'm hearing all these people talking about how, like, a lot of the boys on Arsenal Fan TV are saying that they're going to give the manager time regardless. Like, if he comes mid-table or something, I think that's ridiculous. I don't understand why. Like, people are contradicting themselves. They're saying that what's it called? That on one hand that it's not such a big job because of the players that we've got and we can't do worse than seventh. Sorry. And then that on the other hand, saying that it's such a big job and that we could easily slip down to mid-table, so they're going to give the manager time regardless.
And
I don't get that.
And you don't think that's good? You don't think you should give a new manager time, even if he finishes mid-table?
I think it depends on a few things. Like, you can't, like, for example, say Arteta comes in and loses his first 6 games, am I going to give him 2 years? No, like it doesn't make sense to me. I think it's relative on to how the manager's performing, and if there's an improvement in the team and going forward how it looks. But you can't just say, "Oh, we're just going to give the guy time regardless." It doesn't make sense to me.
I think, you know what? There's a really famous example. You know, there's a lot of people that would say that Sir Alex Ferguson was 1 game away from being sacked. A goal from Mark Robbins in an FA Cup game that led to a replay that saved his career. Went on to win the FA Cup, and if he hadn't have equalised in that game, they were going to sack him. That's always been very much... the media have always said that. Everybody in the know at Man United has always said that's not the case, because they knew what he was building behind the scenes with the youth academy. They knew what was coming down the line, and they were going to stick with him. And I think that's very much the case with a new manager now. And I think that whoever comes in, wherever you finish in the league, and hopefully I'm answering on the same wavelength as you here. It's about the context of where they've finished. If you're playing better, but maybe just not yielding the results yet, you'll maybe give them time. If you have a good cup run, if you look like a better side, but you've still got teething problems, I think some people will forgive them that. If you look absolutely awful in the same way that Crystal Palace did under Frank de Boer, then maybe it'll be a very short... no, because that could happen. I think that's what's important. But like, I get asked this question a lot as a Man United fan. If Jose doesn't win the league next year, will you want him sacked? And my answer is very much... But we need to judge the context of it. If he misses out to... If Man City have already spent £200 million more than us, they spend another £100 million more than us this summer, and Jose misses out by winning the league by 2 points, why would I want him sacked? He's come so close to a team that spent so much more. If he finishes 30 points next season away from Chelsea, goes further... falls further down the league, does worse in the Champions League, wins no trophies, maybe. It's about the context of not winning it. Do you get where I'm coming from, mate?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. But personally, I just think that people need to wait and see who the manager is and see how he's performing before we decide that he's just going to get this 2 years. And regardless, I think that's silly, because we've got players like Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ozil, Mkhitaryan. For us to finish below where we are finishing this season, to me, that new manager would have to be almost inept. I just don't see how someone could be doing a good job and take us worse than where we are now, if that makes sense.
I don't think you are going to fall further down the league than 6th. If Wenger stayed, I don't think you drop lower than 6th next season, to be absolutely honest. I think you're right in that. I think people are just trying to be exceedingly kind. But it'll be an interesting one, because everybody, when Moyes came in, was like right behind, they backed Fergie. They were like, and it's comparable because of the time the managers were there, and it was like, we'll back David Moyes. That lasted 6 months. LVG came in, we said we'd back him. That lasted about a year till the cracks appeared. Jose's come in, it lasted about 18 months, and even though we're second and in the FA Cup final, there are cracks appearing in that as well. Fans say all this, and you're right, but when it proof's in the pudding, let's see what happens when they're performing, where you are in the league, and let's see how these fans feel then, mate. I think you're right there.
Can I just say something else as well about Jack Wilshere, yeah? Jack Wilshere, I'm 29 years old. In terms of technically with the ball at his feet, he's the best English player I've ever seen in my time watching football. But that's it.
Jack Wilshere?
Yeah. But that's it. The goals, the assists, none of it adds up. I think we need to get rid of him, move on. He looks good, but that's it. He looks good. It doesn't really come to anything.
Mate, good shout there. Arsenal fan, mate, really appreciate your call. Really good articulated points. Thank you.
Thank you.
Top man. He's thrown it out there. Did he say he's the best English footballer he's ever seen, or the worst?
In his lifetime.
But he wants him gone because he's not.
Because his goals and his assists. So I think he's saying technically, talent-wise, he's up there, but in terms of end product and actual productivity, he doesn't produce.
My issue with Wilshere is more his fitness issues. I don't see, the outputs don't always have to be. I'll give you an example. There was a great video made once, and it was all about Michael Carrick, and it was showing how he contributes towards so many goals in Man United, and it might have just been the way he picked the ball up, a drop of the shoulder, and a good sideward pass that started off a move in an attack. Those things aren't quantifiable, and I look at Jack Wilshere, that he does a lot of that work. He'll sort of split a team with a pass that puts Ozil into a position. He does a 1-2 with Lacazette, who squares it across, and Aubameyang puts it in. Jack Wilshere's contribution is almost forgotten about at that point, because we don't quantify that as football fans anymore. We look at assists, we look at chances created, we look at goals. Outside of that, we sort of don't concentrate so
No,
much.
you're
But
right.
the man's entitled to his opinion. If you want to disagree with him, give us a call on 0203 606 0315. Let's have a look at those polls, Jay. Oh, we'll just call first and we'll look at the polls. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Z.
Z?
Yeah, Z Kong.
Hello, mate. Who do you support, brother?
Tottenham.
Oh, Tottenham fan. Oh, you must be happy tonight then. You've...
Come on, Spurs, my friend. Come on, Spurs. Oh my goodness, I saw that.
You're very happy that you got the win. And...
Dele Ali was playing Fortnite. I was about to have heart attack. Because the team very low. We lose many points.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But then now I was. Hello.
Yeah, we're listening. We're listening to you.
Yeah, I was very scared because they playing Fortnite. We lose game. They play Fortnite. We lose another game. I was going crazy, man. Shit. Last time Chelsea took Champions League away. If they did it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think you'll stay in the top 4 now? Is it guaranteed you're going to be in the Champions League next year?
Guaranteed, my friend, guaranteed, man. But I don't know what we're going to do, you know. We have new stadium, you know, it's smaller. It's smaller than the other one.
Yeah. Listen,
No, you're right. So
it's smaller. If it's smaller, maybe we can run, you know, maybe win the league. So I'm very excited this time. Very excited.
You know, next season, what do you think's gonna happen? Where do you think you're gonna go?
Next season, top win Champions League. We're gonna win the FA Cup. We're gonna win the La Liga as well. You know everything.
Do you know what? You actually see. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna clap you because this is the best troll we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because he's
Subscribe
actually
to my channel. You know, skeptical reviews. You know, SK. I love you, man. You know, both of you. You know, both of you. Manchester United. I'm going to absolutely throw away all of your trophies. You know, I'm coming to Old Trafford. Yes.
That's a good troll. That's a good troll. He held it up. He actually had some quite funny things to say. If you're going to troll us, that's how you troll us. I'll leave you on the air. It was actually funny. That was actually decent. I like that one. There we go.
He got me,
what are you going to win? Champions League, the FA Cup, and La Liga. There we go. It's good. That's what we want to hear. He probably was a Spurs fan though. He just thought he'd put on a. I don't know what accent it was because everyone. I was listening to the comments and I heard like someone said he sounds like he's like an Arab accent, and then someone said he sounds Japanese.
Yeah.
I weren't too sure. Let's take a look at the polls.
I don't think he was a Tottenham fan. You know, I just realised.
Either way, it was funny.
Yeah, he did.
So look at this. So should Antonio Conte be sacked as Chelsea manager? 45% say yes. 29% say no, and a further 26% they want to wait until after the FA Cup final before making their minds up. But that's a huge percentage want him out.
Yeah.
And you'll probably find at least half of the people will make that decision afterwards. We'll say that. Let's now go look at the other poll. That is my Twitter account, by the way. You want to give me a little bit of a follow at Terry Flewers TFT. Go give that a little whirl. Also, my birth date's on there, so you know when my birthday is, which means if you want to send me a birthday message, card, presents, feel free to.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's not until December, but...
Belated.
Belated? Yeah, it's actually closer to my previous than it is my next birthday, but there we go. 33 this year. Old, bruv.
Big up you, man.
Old, man.
Don't look
the
a
next
day
poll...
over 30.
Will Arsenal ever win a away game in the Premier League again? 31% say yes. I think that 31% like, yes, of course they will. They're taking it like a serious poll. 69% saying no. Oh, look at this comment here from Majestic Firmino. Twat, twat. Oh, look at this. He seems very angry. Do you need a cuddle, sir? Would you like me to come give you a hug?
Majestic Firmino.
Yeah, bless him. Don't see it happening this season, though. Lol. Literally. We can guarantee that. There we go. That's the polls there. And we'll also go take a quick look at the One Football app. We'll just take a little look at the... Let's take a look at the news, actually. We don't need to go through the stats. We always go through stats. Big news, as we all know. Sir Alex Ferguson no longer in intensive care. Always a winner. Well done, the big man, for pulling through. It just says here, Man United have confirmed that Sir Alex Ferguson is no longer in intensive care. The club's legendary manager was rushed to hospital at the weekend. The footballing community have been flooding social media with messages of support for the Scot. And you know, I love that, actually. I love you saw literally, like, whether it was the Man City fans celebrating winning the league on Saturday with a banner, you know, saying "Get well soon, Ferguson."
Yeah,
it was great, and it was great. And that's the thing with the banter with football. it is just football
Yeah,
at the end of the day. When it trends, and we all know Fergie's a legend, and do you know what? The Premier League and football of the last 25 years would not have been the same without him.
Nah.
And I think that it's only when... It's why I've had such sympathy with Arsenal, because Arsenal made my footballing life as a youngster so great as a Man United fan. It's been horrible me seeing them in this plight.
Yeah.
Different from a man nearly dying, but yeah, great news about Sir Alex Ferguson there. What's the other news saying? It was, Juve smashed AC Milan 4-0.
I mean, come on.
Bang.
It's amazing.
Do you remember when they were a good
fans
team?
Stick up so much for Chelsea racists. Plastic loves plastic, I guess.
What?
Fogel McLovin.
Fogel, I don't know what you're referring to there, but give us a call one day. We'll talk about it, because I can assure you that this Man United fan doesn't do that. We're actually talking about that. Oh, I don't need Man United. I don't know why so much Man United news. They dominate, but there we go.
It's because the media loves them.
You know, they love to make money off of us. That's what it is.
Yeah, all right.
There we go. Make sure you get the OneFootball app downloaded. Make sure you're subscribing to whatever platform you're watching on now. Whatever you're watching on Arsenal Fan TV, the Fifth Official, 100% Chelsea, whoever it may be, and of course the Ultimate Football Fan that brings this all together. Make sure you click on the little bell, turn notifications on, because YouTube is no longer sending you emails to say they've uploaded a new video, or they send like 1 in 4 uploads. So if you want to get notifications, you want to know when we're live, click on that bell and it'll push up into your phone or tablet when we're doing it. Make sure you do that. Anything from yourself? Did everyone know where they can find you, mate?
The Fifth Official on YouTube, at TFO Show on Twitter. And make sure, even though he's not live streaming...
Yeah, my live stream, 1 week and I'll be back live streaming again.
Free Terry, please.
You've got to get it done. A ridiculous claim made by somebody that... My own unique content was had a copyright claim go against it. So it's all going through the courts at the moment. It'll be settled in a week's time. And then I'll get to tell you all who did it. They've done it very maliciously. And we'll have some fun with that. We'll troll them a little bit on the internet, because I think they deserve it. I really think they do. There we go. Listen, everyone, take care. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Smash that like button, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.
Hi, welcome along to our brand new show called Completely Cooked. Mr. DT.
I'm making a sausage and mash. We're cooking a ham roll.
Listen, troops.
Man got dead Richmond.
What do you know about Richmond sausages, man? The winner will win the Golden Spoon Award.
Man, I'm making sausage and mash. Am I a prick?
You can tell I'm not used to what those look like by how many kids I've got.
I definitely don't want to eat now.
Red stripe beer to drink his sorrows away, and then he can wipe his tears, you get me?
Robbie, what are those thoughts you've got about me?
If you're cookery man, yeah, everyone knows brown rice is the longest rice to make. Man are telling me I've got 2 hours to make jerk lamb and rice.
Right.
This brother is making pie and mash. He's gonna cry.
You got a lot of talk, yeah? Go and get your ingredients.
He's got a lot of help.
Go and get your ingredients, yeah? The loser is going to have to wear a full kit to the Emirates.